Welcome to Inspire and Move, the show that inspires you to create, connect, and grow. I'm going to bring you meaningful conversations, aha moments, and all the motivation you need to up-level every part of your life. I'm Ali Aruda, founder of Inspire and Move, and your personal hype girl. I've gone from fashion school to celebrity stylist to corporate marketing to brick-and-mortar entrepreneurship with my husband, each time learning incredible lessons how to pivot, reimagine, and implement the steps to become successful. I'm passionate about inspiring others to live their best life, a life of joy. We have the power to design a life that we love, because life is too short not to. The best part is that you weren't meant to do this alone. If you feel like you are meant for more, let me ride shotgun with you, and together, let's get you to where you want to go. Welcome back to Inspire and Move, everyone. I'm your host, Ali Aruda, and today's episode is actually a little throwback to 2024 when I had my very dear friend and mentor, Lori Harder, on the show. And we previously actually split the episode into 2 episodes, but today we are dropping the full episode here. And it's so timely because Matt and I just got back from Chris and Lori's Elite Entrepreneur Mastermind, as well as we had Lori join us for week 1 of the Visibility Accelerator. So I had shared with my podcast team that, you know what, this feels timely to re-share the Lori episode. And mark my words, this will not be the last time that Lori will be on this show, but I just thought it was such a wonderful opportunity to reshare one of my most favorite interviews to date. And I had shared this at the time that when I was getting ready to launch a podcast, the person that was at the very top of my list to interview was Lori. So I am so excited. We were able to enjoy this interview in person in Newport Beach, California, a couple of years ago, and it was so great. And I really hope that you enjoy. So this is really exciting. I am really freaking pumped to be here right now because when I hit go on committing to launching the Inspire and Move podcast, there was one person at the very top of my list, and that was Lori Harder. And she is here in the house. We are recording at DreamX Studios in beautiful Newport Beach, which you might get a new neighbor soon because Matt and I are really obsessed with this place.
Don't. If you're seriously?
I'm going to tell you right now, live on air.
Okay.
That's a surprise.
I mean, I would love that to be like a dream come true. Remember when I was like, you were looking at Arizona? I was like, okay, also here's one other that you need to look at.
Yeah, I see why you presented that. Yes. Matt is here, but he actually is not here because he's having lunch by himself and exploring beautiful Newport.
Yeah, good luck. You're going to have some real estate.
Oh, I'm obsessed. So I am so excited and grateful to have you here. And I cannot wait to dive into all of my amazing notes that I've just made kind of leading up to today's interview. We are going on a nice journey. And for those of you that listening that don't know, I mean, it might be under a rock, but for those of you that don't know, Lori's journey has not always been smooth. There's been some turbulence, and I feel like that's for maybe a lot of us with some of our great, powerful journeys come with some turbulence. And it's a real testament to you and Chris, your grit, determination, and your rise from, then till now. And for anyone listening that's not really aware of your journey, I would love to know a little bit, or love for you to share a little bit about what that journey has included.
Oh my gosh. You know what's crazy is the older you get, the journey gets a little longer. So I'm learning let's see if we can size this down. But I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast, and let's lower the expectation. Okay, here we go.
Love it.
Here we go.
Boom. Go.
All right. I was not raised in an entrepreneurial family. Like I just thought you work hard and that is your life journey. Like you work hard and you struggle and there's, family and great things along the way. But I didn't have any big aspirations because I didn't really see that growing up. So I grew up in a small town in Upper Michigan, which I resonate with Canadians so much because truly I am more northern than parts of Canada. And so we had, I would say we even had more of a Canadian accent than some of you. So, yeah, I just have worked on it. But anyhow, small town in Upper Michigan, I was homeschooled through high school and I was raised in a more restrictive religion. So the reason that I share that is because it took a small town and it made it even smaller. So I was only allowed to associate with people within that congregation. And at the time we had 114 people. And so, I pretty much set my goals and sights around what I saw, which was we were just, going to dedicate our lives to God and go door to door, which is amazing. But also as a teenager, I started to get these feelings of, I think there's more for me. And I think anyone listening to this podcast, I know if anybody is listening to your podcast, it is because they have that same exact feeling. And so you guys have probably all arrived at the feeling that I had from 14 to 18, where your reality does not match with what you are starting to hopefully see for yourself in the future and with what you want. So from 14 to 18 really became this like time for me of going, who am I? Well, this doesn't match up. What am I going to do in the future? And so at 18, I ended up moving out of the house, and I did not turn into an entrepreneur at 18. I went crazy at 18 because it was like when a spring is held real tight and then you let go for a few years. And so that was my like drinking, partying, drugs phase, and then woke up around 21 going, oh my gosh, that knocking in my soul, that same one, or like, you know, that feeling that is like it will not let you sleep at night is back. And I think you can try to numb it. You can try to do all of the things, but when you know, you know. And so around, you know, that 24-ish age, I started to say, what on earth am I going to do with my life? Because I had not graduated. I had, you know, no education. I didn't even have any friends at this point because I had left them all behind. They were all still, a lot of them were still in that religion, or they were the friends that were like bad news bears for me. At that point, I'm like, okay, we can't hang out anymore because now they had gone so far the other way that now I was in a place where I was completely isolated. And so I ended up meeting my husband at 20. Well, I met him at 21, but we ended up getting married at 24. And that was when I just started kind of like dabbling in maybe I could be a personal trainer. Maybe I could go do this thing, except I failed that test twice. Who fails personal training tests twice?
There are going to be some tricky questions on there, you know, anatomy.
It was a lot of anatomy, but also I learned, because I did go to school up until 8th grade and I always had test anxiety. They didn't have words for it, like around it then. And all I knew is that everything made me nervous. So now I'm like, oh, you had test anxiety. Like I could never complete a test without freaking out. And so learned about all those things, ended up, you know, finally passing this test, becoming a personal trainer, except I wind up doing personal training at an LA Fitness and they're paying me $6 per 30-minute session. Oof. Yeah. Woof. It was like, okay, this is not so great. So fast forward, it is, you know, I've been at this gym or at LA Fitness for probably a year, maybe a little bit longer than a year. And I had always told all of my clients like what my big dream was. I'm like, I want to own my own gym. I want to be on magazine covers. So I was always proclaiming it.
I feel so seen.
I did.
Feel so
you know,
seen.
it's totally you to a T. But I didn't really know if I was going to take action on that. So 2008, my husband was in finance and mortgage. And what happened in 2008 was the recession hit. And so he lost his job. He was the main breadwinner of the home. I know that's shocking with me making $6 per 30-minute session.
Shocking.
But we literally we lost everything. We lost our homes. We lost our cars. We were $300,000 in debt. And then I am making no money to support us. Also, people were stopping, like everyone was kind of doing a little bit about what they're doing now. Like everyone was kind of like cutting back on everything. So I'm like, what are we going to do? And there was this moment where now I had gone through a bankruptcy with my parents when I was 14. And so this felt just like way too familiar. It was like so much on your nervous system that when it happened, you know, he had came home and told me what was going on. And I just looked at him and I was like, this will never happen again. Like this will never happen again. Now, did I know what I was going to do? No, I still didn't graduate. I still had no money coming in, but something shifted in me that was like, you have to do something so different than what you are doing. You have to go and figure this out and you have to face your fears. Because at the time, I had a lot of fear. I had a lot of anxiety and I had a lot of like imposter syndrome that if I went for something more, people would find out that I was a fraud. And truly, back in the day, not graduating, you were a fraud. They were like, education was 10 years ago, even education was like the biggest thing ever. It was just like, oh, where'd you go to school? What did you do? Oh, do you have the credentials for that? Now it's like everyone's a life coach, everyone's a trainer, everyone is something. But back then it was a really, really big deal. And so I never went for the big things up until that point. And so whenever people hit a wall or have a rock bottom, I'm always like, don't waste a good crisis. Like, they're so powerful. Use them to force you out of the pain that you were in, because now it's like the pain of going for it isn't half as hard as what you're actually in.
I couldn't agree more. And I've said that a lot, that I had a few personal rock bottom moments happen in the same similar time window. And it took me about a week or two to kind of come out of the true darkness and realize that, all right, when you're at rock bottom, it's actually sometimes a good place to be, because you can't go any lower than that.
No.
And the sooner we can figure that out, to be like, well, I can only go up from here. And then you go up, and then there's all this greatness to unlock and unfold. And you are a perfect example of that. And I'm so excited to really dive into that with the Glōci journey and the Glōci story. But I feel like as you were coming out of that with fitness and owning your own gym and taking on clients, you then eventually forayed into the world of personal development. And I really appreciate how important and impactful personal development is for you and Chris, and as individuals, your relationship, events that you do and lead, that you got into the world of live events and doing the Bliss Project. And remind me how many years you did Bliss Project?
I think we did 7 or 8.
My guess was 7. And closing that down. And what was your dream going from, this journey with training and owning your own gym to going into live events and curating that really for community and connection with this room full of women and seeing the transformation that they'd experience, but then making, I would imagine, a very difficult decision of closing that down for an even bigger dream?
Yeah, the reason I wanted to start Bliss Project was because growing up and even in my 20s, if you don't spot it, you can't make it happen for yourself. If you don't see it in your vicinity or in your friend circle, if it's not possible, then it's not, if it's not possible within your circle, it doesn't feel possible for you. So that's why everything that we've done is always about getting people in a room whose dreams, like your dreams, are their reality. And that's one of the most important things you can do, because then it can become your reality. All you have to do is go talk to them. And all of a sudden you figure out that they're just people as well. Like, online is great and following people, but when you actually meet them, there's something so different about that, where they, a lot of people, I'm not going to say all people, but a lot of people, like, they want you to be successful. So they're going to tell you what it really felt like, or they're going to tell you, how long it's actually going to take and what it's going to look like. But like, stopping the Bliss Project it's funny because 2020 was our last year. It was going to be our last year. We had all of these epic speakers lined up and all the tickets were sold. Like, we sold out early that year.
Oh, no.
We're like, oh my God, record setting, like, so exciting. And we start hearing, we're like 2 weeks out and we start hearing that things are closing. I'm like, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay. And I was like, we were at an event. We were at one of our events on a break. And so Chris and I were like having a glass of wine before we went into the evening portion of the event. And I go, okay, if like NBA shuts down, then we'll close, then we'll call it. And like, literally while we're sitting there, this news alert comes up that all basketball games had stopped. And I was like, oh my God, like, this is my worst nightmare. Like, because, you put money down on a venue, and we had booked at the Ritz-Carlton, like the most expensive venue we had ever booked at, with like everything paid for. And everybody was just left with like holding the bag. It was the craziest experience of my life. But before I did that event, I knew it was my last one. And what's bizarre is, not bizarre, I think everybody, if you start really tuning in, you kind of know when your chapter is closing. And I think that people get afraid or sad. Like, I've never been sad to close them, because I always have mentally started shifting into what's next and how those people are going to come with me. So it's never like this is ending. It's always like, you guys, the boat's just turning. Like, you're all still on the ship. We're doing a different destination now, because like, we've gone to Cabo 15 times. Like, we need to start going somewhere else, you know? And that's just always how I viewed it, is all of these people who have come with me have, hopefully, if I've done my job right, like, hopefully they've learned and they're ready for that next level too. And not everyone is, but those people can follow. And also the people that you know, have talked to on your podcast and that you've had at all of your events, like, as you grow and get into different things, what happens is women from your community will now be ready, if your community isn't yet, will now be ready to kind of like take the torch and help those people who are still at that level. If you're not feeling called to working with maybe entry-level entrepreneurs or entry-level people in personal development. And I think where people get really stagnant and stuck is because they stay in that same exact place when really they want to be teaching about, like, kind of the next level on their journey.
I love that perspective, and that's something, thank you for sharing that, because I feel like that was a really powerful takeaway. And, you know, we have conversations at home, Matt and I, about building community and our business and shifts and changes, that I think there is so much power that comes from getting in rooms with higher level individuals and people that have been doing it longer and people that are doing it better than you.
Yes.
Because there's
always someone doing it better and longer.
Yeah. And there's always something to learn. And, you know, at the time of recording this, tomorrow is dinner series event number 2, which is all about this, with higher level networking and getting in these rooms and conversations. Matt and I were actually having this conversation on the weekend of, you know, what are you most excited about? You know, having one already, coming into number 2.
I'm like, do tell.
Yeah. Well, actually, and then we both got stumped because we're like, what are we going in with from a perspective? And I actually think we want to go in just for relationship capital.
Yes, totally.
We just are craving a bit of a refresher from deep relationships, deep conversations, and people that are doing big things, that have maybe been doing it longer, better, that will understandably be different things than what we're doing.
Yeah.
But I think it's just coming down to the people that are in the room and the relationships that are fostered from a room like that versus going in with a specific ask.
I for sure have been, like, especially as you get more clear on who you are and what your business is, then you get to go in the rooms like that, like with no agenda. And what's cool about that is the magic then comes to you, because I think it's important to, like, set an intention, but then be super open. Not that agendas are bad. I think it's really important when you're first networking for something specific and putting it out there. But it's cool also to be able to go in and just be like, man, we really want some high level friends. What does that look like?
Yeah.
And that will bring magic to your life.
And I think it also took, like, a little bit of time to get to that and
Totally
feel like we could give ourselves the permission.
Oh my God, it took me years. You're way faster than me.
Well, I'm learning from great people that have been doing it longer and better than us.
Yes, you get the shortcuts. Good.
Yes, the shortcuts. Matt uses that term all the time. Okay, speaking of cut, I want to just, like, cut over to light pink because we have so much to unpack about light pink turn Glōci. And I want to chat a little bit about your vision. Like, where were you when you came up with the idea for light pink and starting a company, starting a product company, a beverage company?
Okay, so it was around the Bliss Project time where I knew that was my last one. I don't know why I knew. I just knew I wanted to be teaching on other things. Like, it felt like taking women for 3 days, just not just, but around changing their story and their beliefs. Like, I was like, these women have been with me like 8 years or longer, because, you know, I had done it longer than that. I'm like, we got our beliefs.
Yeah.
Like, they're all itching. So I'm watching a lot of them. Like, I'm feeling this desire in me to be teaching on these things I'm learning about, like these new big ideas that are, like, literally rocking my world and, like, bringing me to my knees with excitement. I'm just so excited about it. And so I think it felt like going back somewhere that I was like, you're just done, you know? And so I wanted to make it a great event, but at the same time, like, I knew I was done. So COVID happened, didn't have to do it. But anyway,
yeah, that's a wrap.
It would have been awesome. But in terms of light pink, like, where that even came from was I started asking myself the question, like, what is next? Like, what on earth is next? And you guys, I had written a book at this point and I toured it like 8 different cities or something. We did a year-long tour. So it was like 4 or 5 cities in each one. And I loved it. But after I wrote the book, I was like, man, that was super lonely. Like, I don't know if I want to do that again. And, you know, I write books on, like, female friendships and connection and networking. And guess what? Writing a book it's isolation for, like, a very long time. And so you teach what you need the most, and you also write books on what you need the most. And I was like, okay, I don't want to jump into this again because I feel really lonely. And then at the time, I got to meet one of the top authors and speakers, like in the moment. And I went to dinner with her, and she had, I think she was on number 140 something of speaking. And she was like, I'm dead inside. I don't know what I'm doing. And I thought, here's why this is significant. I thought that was my goal. Mm-hmm. And so I had this moment of, like, when we left, I said to Chris, I go, oh my God, I just had the realization that so many dreams that I choose have a horrible day-to-day life.
Oh.
And it like rocked me because now I had no dream. I have always had a dream. Like since I was little, I was like, there's something there. I got to figure it out. You know, whether it was like, even when I was young, even though I couldn't name it, it was like performer or dancer or something. I was like, I'm in front of people. I don't know what that looks like. So all of a sudden, I don't have a dream. I don't know what to do. And I don't want the dream that I had. And so I started asking, like, it was a very, when you do this long enough, meaning just like, you know, follow your calling or start businesses or have your business, you are going to hit like places where you have years of pivot or you don't know what you're supposed to be doing. And it feels, you kind of like, you feel like you're moving into a full new identity. And I'm learning how to support myself better through it. But if this is your first time or you haven't heard this before, like be prepared because it will happen. And you'll wonder what's wrong with you. And you'll think you lost all motivation. And you'll think like, oh my God, what's wrong? I don't want to do this. I can't imagine doing this anymore. How am I going to make money? How am I going to like all the things? And that's such a good place to be because you don't want to be there all the time, but that means your next level is requiring like a little stillness and a little attention. And there's something so much bigger than you can possibly fathom. And this will continue to happen. I kind of feel like Chris and I were talking. I feel like I'm going to come up with like some framework because I think it's like a 7-year cycle.
Oh.
Of like changing who you are and like how you show up. So I'm going to see if this comes through. But anyway, so it's just was this moment of, I want to bring women with me. And what is that? So I started asking myself this question. If I had all the time, all the money, and all the network in the world, what would I be doing? And the reason that I wanted to ask those questions was because if we don't ask ourselves those questions for what's next, we will set our goal and our future based on our current skill set and the current person that we are. And so in our current, like what we're able to like use and what we have at our fingertips, where that is absolutely not going to be the case for your future. Like, so if I would have set a goal from who I thought I was then and what I, you know, was able to like get as far as resources and people, guess what I would have been doing? I would have written another book and I would have done another event. And so if I had all the time, which I didn't, but I knew I could create it, you know, if I got really, really smart, I could start creating more time. If I had all the money, which I didn't, but I knew that I could learn to raise it because it was in my friend network. Someone had done it and I had gotten really vulnerable and told them, hey, and I wasn't telling people at the time. Like, I don't think I started telling people I didn't graduate high school till like 2020. And like, it took me that long. Like I just avoided the subject. So I told this person like, hey, I'm not good with numbers. I didn't graduate high school. Do you think I can raise money? They're like, yeah, because you get like an attorney, they help you with it. Are you a good storyteller? And I'm like, I can get better. He's like, great, awesome. So, and then all of the network, which at the time, like, yeah, I had a decent network, but I didn't have anyone in products. Like I didn't have really anyone in CPG. I followed women founders in different things, but I wasn't like friends with them. They didn't feel accessible yet at all. So asking those 3 questions, let my answers be unlimited. And they feel crazy because you're like, I don't know. I had so many different ideas because I asked myself this for a year. And, which the weirdest thing, one concept I came up with, it was, I'm like, was this? Oh yeah, it's like during COVID. So why am I asking myself this question? But I came up with like a brick and mortar that would be called brunch. And it was pretty much just brunch, but you had to dress up and do all these things and drink champagne. And one of the investors in light pink has a location that is just brunch called brunch. I thought that was the weirdest.
Really?
Yes.
That's amazing.
When she told me later, I was like, oh my God, I have this theory. I'm like, it's not really my theory. It's actually like a theory that is out there. But I think ideas are all like up in a cloud all at the same time for that time in history. And you just have to like make yourself really available for them. And they're going to land, if they don't land on you, like literally they're going to land on the person next to you. So you have to be ready to receive them, because I think that there's millions of ideas up there right now waiting for the person to just be super open and ready to bring them to life right now. And in 10 years, all those ideas will be different. It's like what the world needs right now.
That's an amazing story. So it's like something that you got, but by way of one of your investors.
Yeah, so weird. So anyway, that's where Light Pink came from. It was like, well, so I'd written the book, A Tribe Called Bliss, and the book did well, but it really didn't hit the mainstream market that I want. I mean, you know me. I like to, so picture I'm in personal development and I'm in fitness. I'm like, I'm not like the mainstream girls. What are they doing? They're all getting together and drinking wine and maybe like, I don't know what else they're doing, because I kind of wasn't in that world at the time. And so I was like, okay, we hit the personal development market, but I want to hit those girls who are actually really struggling with this. Because at the time I had moved to LA and I was going to these big events and networking things and looking around going, this really sucks. Like nobody's getting what they need and nobody's really talking. Like we're not having conversations. It's more like a who's who and look at me type of thing. And so I thought, what if I made a lighter wine spritz? Because spritzes seltzers had just come out, but they were kind of trashy looking and they were like,
terrible
made you feel terrible also. And I was like, what if it made you feel like okay? And it was wine and it was beautiful packaging. We had 3 questions on the back of the can that if you even looked at them and thought to ask them to another woman, like you would get an answer that you needed. And so it was just at the time in that moment, and there were some other like D2C companies, direct to consumer, like wine companies that were doing really well and were getting acquired. And then COVID hits and they were doing even better for a little while, for a little flash in the pan. So this felt like a great idea to go with. And that's how it started.
I love that. And I love that you also leaned into the investors and what your vision was behind that. Now, did you always have a number in mind of how many investors how many women, because I know that you wanted female investors? Was it a number that felt right, or was it more so the higher level of like the dollar figure of like this?
It was
the goal?
The number that I wanted to raise. Yep. So however many women that took to raise that, which now that's a whole other podcast we can do, like on raising money and what I would do differently now. But it worked out perfectly. I think that what I would have done is done a little bit higher number for like a set number of people, just because the amount of time I spent that I spent raising was a full-time job for like a year, literally.
I can appreciate that.
So it was also like the number of times that even excited people you have to have touch points with is like minimum 7 to 8 with the people who want to invest. Now imagine the people who you're like working on, and it's just like tracking it and like remembering the conversations and staying on top of them enough, but not too much. And then getting on new conversations and, while you're trying to get your company going, but you don't quite have the dollar amount you want in the bank yet. It's just it's a whole thing.
What was I like? 1 to 2 touch points?
You were probably you and Lindsay were probably my easiest.
Ever quick.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
when you're like, oh my God, thank you.
Well, I remember that. And I mean, I remember hearing you talk about the journey of building Light Pink and building this whole journey with investors and female investors as a podcast of somebody in your community listening to the podcast. And in 2020, so that like really vibrant year of transformation, let's call it.
Such a great year.
We were gym owners. So shocking, had a lot of free time on my hands. And I read a ton of books that year, all very focused personal development, one of my favorite genres, if you will. And I read this book called She Means Business by Carrie Green. And it's a great book. And I thought, well, I have the time, so I will do all of the journal prompts and take the action steps necessary. And so this is my fun story for you that I told you I had story time in the middle of the podcast. And one of the questions was, who are some people or a couple that you really admire? And you and Chris were on the list, as well as Katrina and Brian Scott, actually.
That's hilarious.
And then like a very similar question a couple chapters later of like, who would you, whether you know them or not, who's someone that you would love to work with? Guess whose name was on the list again? Lori and Chris Harder, Katrina and Brian Scott. And Carrie on, I did the rest of the rest of the exercises. And then I think I had shared Earn Your Happy episode that resonated and tagged it. And you replied to this story and you had acknowledged that, I see you love wine. Do you invest?
That's right.
And I was like, well, I do love wine, and I probably share that a bit too much on Instagram. But I was
like, this is great.
Yes. And then that was the sort of conversion tool of setting up the call to chat about investing. But I actually remember prior to the call, which was the night of my virtual birthday party. There's a banger for you.
Yep.
It was a couple days before the call, and you had sent me the deck just to sort of review everything, which I think I went to page 2. And I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I wonder how much money she needs. But on the page, whatever number it was, you had the advisory board.
Oh, that's right.
And guess who was on the advisory board?
Katrina.
And it was one of those like universe aha moments that I'm like, this shit is so cool. You talk about it, you dream about it, you write it down, and who knows what the timeline is that takes to put it into action. And I am so glad that I did those questions and wrote that down in the notebook and took the time in 2020, because here we are 4 years later sitting together having this conversation and celebrating this massive pivot into Glōci.
Hey guys, it's Matt Arruda, and if you're a business owner making between $25,000 and $500,000 a year and you're ready to seriously upgrade your life and business in 2026, this is for you. The Mentor Collective Mastermind with Chris and Lori Harder and a team of expert coaches is designed for driven entrepreneurs who don't just want more revenue, they want more clarity, better strategy, real accountability, and a powerful community in their corner. You'll get high-level mentorship, expert coaching, and a room full of ambitious business owners who are scaling right alongside you. If you're done doing it alone and ready to play bigger in 2026, the Mentor Collective Mastermind is your next move. Apply now and let's build your next level together.
You know what? I'm like going to twist this on you for 1 second, because I think listeners, it like these big life-changing moments come from things that you just wouldn't expect. Maybe you're sitting here listening and like, oh, that'd be nice to be able to invest. But like some of the first investments we made, we worked really hard to get the money for them, because we knew that it was maybe into a person or a group of people that would like change the trajectory of our life if we like made like an investment showing up like, hey, we're serious about this, or we want to help. And that has been life-changing for us, like to go and put the money down on something for someone, and then you get introed into this group that you wouldn't normally have access to, but because you showed up and gave that money, whether it is into a product or whether it's into like a room, like you're in, like people take you serious. They're like, oh, they put their money where their mouth is. Oh, these are people who are going to make it happen. These are people who are like going to go and find a way to do the things that they need to get done. And I think when you are like playing at that level as well, you want those people around you, and you're like, cool, you're one of those people too. Okay. Cause the conversations are different. And like, what did investing for you open up? I'm so curious, cause I know what it did for me.
It was something that we were talking about. We had previously invested in real estate. Yeah. And in all of our free time that we had in 2020, we were chatting about, let's have a real conversation like this. And the irony is that we're making no money from our business. We have zero revenue coming in, but we're talking about investing money. Right. Thankfully had other income streams, which I'm a big advocate for that. But we wanted to do something different. And when we got the deck to look at the opportunity, I knew who I was investing in, which I have loved since hearing you and Chris have conversations largely on your podcasts where like what your criteria is for investing. And I knew that we were investing in you. And having this conversation sort of offline with people over the last few years, from the original light pink investment to the pivot to where we are now with Glōci, that I've always been so confident that I'm like, I love the updates that Lori sends for investor updates, but I'm so confident in everything she's going to be doing and making the hard decisions she's going to be making, because it's the fearless leader of who I trust. And I think it was really just going back to your question, it was an opportunity that you are someone that I've admired for years, that I wanted to just grow a different part of me and stretch myself, that, making a big investment was new for me. and something that I was excited about doing. And then you had the investor dinner, which was honestly to the day about 30 days after my dad passed away.
That's right.
And I remember sitting with this decision and almost a bit of guilt of like, do I go? Do I not go? This feels really irresponsible to be going to Arizona 30 days after my dad passed away suddenly. But I think I will regret if I don't go. And the second I pulled up in an Uber, I was nervous as hell, walking in by myself because I don't really know anyone. I knew one other girl who was another Canadian investor that wasn't there, and went in really nervous and kind of intimidated that I'm like, I don't know who's going to be in here, but probably women that are doing things bigger than I am, doing things better, longer. And why am I here? What am I doing
What a
here?
perfect room to be in.
Yeah, I was very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So I just proceeded to put one foot in front of the other and walk in. And I was like, there are probably really worse things that could happen, but I'm just going to take a nice deep breath and I'm going to appreciate being here. And I am so glad that I came because it has opened new doors of friendships, or now with having podcast guests and opportunities for events and collaborations. And I'm just so grateful to have had an opportunity to unlock a higher level of friendship and community.
You have to go and do the things that scare you because it'll open up everything else. And then it's not scary. Like I guarantee even an hour in, you were like, okay, this is not that crazy. Like you're meeting people, you're talking to people like at the investor dinner, like it's not that big of a deal. You just, it's not scary once you get in. It's like the first hour of anything is like, this is intimidating. And then you can kind of drop in.
And I love the idea of being uncomfortable and doing those things. I've used that a lot, even in personal training, where people are afraid to do a step up. I'm like, well, if it scares you, then it's great. Go.
Yeah.
Because that's life.
Totally.
That's life, business. And I'm sure building a company, you're doing things that scare you every day, every week.
Every day.
Every day.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Glōci.
Okay.
I want to talk
What do you
about
want to talk
Glōci.
about?
I want to talk about, what was your biggest learning lesson from Light Pink and moving into Glōci?
I mean, I think the biggest, most basic one is to look at what you are going into and the laws around it first.
Great learning lesson.
But the thing is that those things are kept, they're so gate kept until you're in it, and until you've paid the money to start the process with the teams, that you can't really know if you're just doing it on your own. But I should have found somebody who was really in exactly what I was in, direct to consumer. But it's crazy because I did find people, but they wouldn't tell me. So it's almost like it was meant to be. It was very gate kept. If something's really gate kept, that also might be a red flag, that it's a little bit of a gray area, because it was direct to consumer, like wine, which was fairly new. Not a lot of people were doing it because it's kind of gray. So it was one of those things that, if you're thinking of something, a lot of people went into CBD, or a lot of people did alcohol. It's like, look at the red tape that you'll have to go through with whatever you're doing. Even supplements are a little bit challenging, but nothing compared to what I was doing. But for some people, supplements will feel very challenging because there is a lot of legal, which also means the amount of money that you're going to have to spend to even get launched is going to be really high. Some of my legal bills in Light Pink of just getting started, and we weren't even halfway there yet, was $250K.
Oh,
yeah. Just to make sure everything was coherent, or that it was legal.
And then you have Canada.
Yeah.
And we have a whole new layer of complications, we'll call it, in a very light way.
I mean, legal's crazy because it's if you want an expert in that certain field, some of them are $1,000 an hour. So, and you have to go with the person who's the expert. You don't want to go with the person that's I do that sometimes. So, because this is your business that you're talking about. And yes, even with that, I was still taking some risks. So it was that's the first thing that I would say. The second thing is, if you're going to ship something, look at the weight of it, because shipping costs are so high now. And also, how big is it? And the shipping, box cost is really huge. So if you're going to look at something like a physical product, those are all things of price it all out from start to finish. Does your skill set align with being able to market this easier? Because you're either going to be the marketer and you're going to save some money in that way for your company where you can really help market it, even though you're still going to have to market it. You're still going to have to do ads and do all of the other things. But does your skill set align with something that could get the company further or save it a lot of money in the beginning so that you can get it off the ground instead of like, well, I don't really know what any of this is. So your skill set can't be applied to any of it. So you're not saving money anywhere.
Oh my God, the huge lessons that I would imagine you kind of set out to make these plans, and then we and by me, it's royal we the view, that you're learning these things every single day, week over week, or your team, and continuously applying these new learnings to how you're going to do things bigger, better, month after month. And we got some exciting news today as people being part of Glōci, and I know I get so many requests from people in the DMs about Glōci in Canada, and we were sort of jamming before we hit record how we're going to try to tackle that. But where were you when you came up with the sort of the pivot to Glōci? Like, were you on a walk? Were you lying in bed staring at the ceiling because you couldn't sleep?
Okay, so when Light Pink started to look like I did not have a viable business, I was looking at ways to have upsells. And I'm like, well, I use like 2-3 hydration packets a day. That seems to go really well, obviously, with drinking. But then I was looking at so then I really started looking into my hydration packets. I'm like, okay, if we're going to do hydration packets, like,
what's in them?
What if they did more and what's in them? So I look at it and I'm turning it over and I'm like, and I was talking to someone about it at the time because she had just talked to like the biggest producer of these hydration packets. And so I was like, oh my God, I am just drinking really expensive sugar and salt, like really expensive. And I was like, there's really nothing else in here. There's some electrolytes and flavoring. And I'm like, why is this such expensive sugar and salt? Now, when you have a product, it costs a lot of money to get a product to your doorstep. So that makes sense. But I was like, what if maybe we did a little bit more of a premium version of this and we actually put in ingredients that caused big results that women wanted? Because everything that I had seen at that point was either very sciencey or bro-y, and I didn't feel like I was being marketed to as a female with like any sort of packet or like any sort of result that I would want. So I actually got together with a bunch of my girlfriends and I was like, if you could have this packet do anything, what would it be? And can I put surveys into your group? So I called Boss Babes because they have a really large community, and I asked them if I could put in this survey into their group, and then I put it into a couple other people's groups and then my stuff. And I said, like, how do you want to feel every day? Like, what is something that you'd like? What are the things that you would want this thing to do if we were able to create something? And it all came back from women saying like the things that they feel like the problems that they're dealing with. They feel weighed down in their bodies. They feel bloated. They want their skin to glow. They want to feel more hydrated. Like, it was all of these different, I'm like, I feel all of these things too. Yes, absolutely. And they're overwhelmed, like, with all the things that they should be taking. So I was like, okay, if we just put like the main things into one packet, what would that be? Okay, so we're like weighed down, bloated. Well, that's gut. Like, they're probably not digesting their food. Maybe their diet isn't so great yet. Like, what could we do to help this a little bit? Because we really view this as like, we hope that Glōci is an entry point to a healthier lifestyle all around. Like, I love that. It's that moment of, oh, I'm doing one good thing for myself. What else could I do? Like, I kept this habit. And when you keep habits, when you keep promises to yourself and keep those little habits, massive things can come from that. Massive things can come. It's just like, if you can only do one thing today, do this. So that's like the packet that we wanted to create. So that's why we came up with all of the ingredients that we came up with, because it goes after bloating, it goes after, skin. We want to help you with the appearance of fine lines. We just want to make you feel better all around.
What was the number one ingredient that Lori wanted in there?
I wanted the probiotic because I know that gut is attached to everything. Mm-hmm. And when people have gut issues, they typically have skin issues. And skin is biggest organ in your body. So if you're not, and I knew this from Fitness Alley, I was like, when I eat like shit, my skin looks like shit. So I knew that if we could just get some better ingredients and have them start like digesting their food and getting, you know, some vitamins into their system, that we could probably make a pretty good impact quick. And so Chris and I, coming from, you know, I'd been in the health and fitness world forever. So I like took so many supplements, and then we were also in network marketing, took so many different things. And I knew that if you don't experience a result in the first like couple weeks, that you're kind of over it. Like if you're not into it, or it's not making you drink more water, if you're not seeing something or feeling something. So when I went into formulation with this science team, and then when we asked like all the doctors and dermatologists, I was like, this needs to literally work. Like I'm not going to go through all of this if we don't have ingredients in here that actually work. So we went with less ingredients, but more of the ingredient.
Well, I think that's something that a lot of consumers would appreciate, that they're all ingredients that you can read and pronounce versus, you know, these complicated words. I also love that there's hyaluronic acid in a Glōci packet and prickly pear. And you were just sharing a really cool fact about prickly pear that I knew I loved it as an ingredient in sort of familiarity in Arizona, but I didn't really understand the health benefits of it. And just I really appreciate as a consumer that I look at the packaging, the social media, marketing, all of that, email, newsletters, that all the ingredients are really premium ingredients that are easy to pronounce and easy to understand. And I think consumers now are very smart for the most part. Most consumers are very, very smart and very aware of what they are investing in, especially in the wellness space, and what they are putting in their bodies and how they want to look and feel. And even the befores and afters that are coming in since Glōci launched have been remarkable.
I'm really excited. Like, I think that's been the most exciting part is I'm like, oh my God, like we knew it would do stuff, but I just got a 2-month before and after this morning that I was like, oh my God, like skin texture, skin tone, and just how this person feels is mind blowing. She's like, I've run out of all of my packets because I give them all to my friends. And I'm like, okay, well, let's not let this happen.
So selfless.
I know. I was like, no. You can't run out because we need your 3-month before and after.
Yeah. Yes. You should feel so proud.
I'm so proud.
Do you feel proud?
I feel super proud. Yes.
What are you most excited about right now about Glōci?
I want more people to have transformations. So I at first, well, I'm equally excited. I'm excited about the ambassador and affiliate program. That's a bit of a slower lift than I expected, like slower getting off the ground and getting everyone like onboarded and getting them going and getting them excited about the product because it's new. So I want people to hear this because
and can anyone be an affiliate?
Anyone can be an affiliate right now. That's not going to be for long though. So you do have to do an application process, but right now we're just kind of like, that's how we're testing our affiliate program.
Okay.
So get in while you get in right now, because there will be parameters soon. It's just right now we're doing all data collection and everything, trying to figure out who that perfect affiliate is. And then from the affiliate program, you can get invited into the ambassador program, which comes with a lot of perks monetarily, like more money, but also a lot of experiences that we'll be doing later in the year once that is up and truly up and running and onboarded.
This is so neat. And I feel like this is such a beautiful reflection of you, like your entire journey from fitness and wellness as a trainer and gym owner to now having a wellness product, your experience and success in network marketing and having, the more modern look now with affiliate programs, ambassador programs, and then what sounds like these benefits of being in the ambassador program sounds also like it's tapping into your world and expertise of personal development and networking and getting in the rooms and learning from you or probably some people in your network that can speak to, online marketing, email marketing, events. It's really, I'm just sort of listening to you talk about it and had this download that it's this really incredible reflection of you.
It's the intersection of everything I've done. That's why I'm having the most fun is it's all the things that I've done that I've been good at that I'm taking and applying to this. So, and so if anyone's listening, it's like you can create, it might not be, it's not going to be your first thing, but that one's going to be equally as important and you'll learn so many lessons and you'll still hopefully make some money. And and then your second thing, and then maybe your third thing, who knows, but they will all feed into each other. So I can only imagine what will be after this, because it'll be another level of this, like all my favorite things.
Do you feel like you're in your dream right now?
Oh yeah, every single day. So even when it's hard, I wake up and, Chris and I do the Power 9 every morning, which is 3 gratitudes, 3 excited abouts, and 3 manifests. I would say 1, if not 2, are always like so grateful to get to do like everything that I'm doing with Glōci. I'm so grateful to have a company that I'm excited about, that even, I have days where I look at my Shopify page and I'm like, shit, like I'm like, come on people, like, because it's the beginning. So I think everybody sees these brands launch and stuff and they're like, they must be crushing it. Like, probably not. Like, we're all started out here.
Different.
Exactly. Like, I know that you were at Girlfriends in Business, and you got to hear like Kaylee Christina talk about ClearStem in their first year. And then it's like what that first year looks like compared to like year, like even 2 or 3. But for them, what their year 1 looked like compared to their year 3 to 5, people just are not willing to sit in the discomfort of year 1. And so when I look at it, even though, yes, I've had success over here, that doesn't mean that you will have any success in another thing. At all. Like, it does in terms of the fact that I'm not going to quit, but it doesn't mean business wise, like as that business as a separate thing from you, that will be successful. It's like you are starting at day 1 all over again. And this is where people, I think, get really scared and intimidated to go to their next thing. It's like what we talked about in the beginning of people can get really stuck in what they're doing because they're afraid of being a beginner. And like, I'm not afraid to say, hey guys, this is a small startup right now. Like we are going to be a small startup for 2 years. Like this is what it's going to look like. We will be hustling our asses off. I will be I packed out your samples. Yep. Like this is what it looks like. I am in it. I'm walking to the UPS store once or twice a week to go ship people things that I have packed out. Like we are in startup mode, and I'm excited about it, and I don't want to skip over that.
Well, I think now in today's society, a lot of people are afraid of hard work.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure where that disconnect happened, but they shouldn't be, because it's humbling, and it's part of our story and our journey to success.
Yeah.
And that it is, if startup mode, but you've had other successful businesses that you've built, and maybe people have built and sold, that it takes hard work in whatever capacity. That was same for Matt and I, that we had this big brick and mortar business that was closed, and thank gosh we had other sources of income that people can look and see like, oh my God, everything must be fine. Like, no, it's actually not fine, because there's 0 coming in from this business every month. But thankfully you have other things that you've worked hard at to build and have revenue come in from.
Right.
That's comes down to hard work. And
Totally.
I don't know why there is this sort of disconnect for people being afraid of that.
Yeah, I think it's just, like ego and worrying about what people think is such a luxury that once you've lost everything, you're like, oh yeah, I don't want to go back there again. So even if you haven't lost everything, it's worth doing the exercise of like tapping into if you did and what would you do? Because sometimes we sleep on, I was thinking about this today with Glōci. I was like, if my bank account for Glōci was at this number, how would I be working today? And I was like, oh, that wasn't how I was going to work today. And so it's a reminder of you need to work like you're at rock bottom, or like your bank account is at 0. If you're in a place where you're not getting to the next level, that's kind of like the reset of how would I be working if this was at 0 right now? What would I be doing? Like, what would be the most important things I could do? Am I doing that? And that's once in a while I get caught in my inbox, like just trying to catch up with things. I'm like, is this the most important thing I could be doing for Glōci right now?
Well, that's a good perspective shift as well. I think for any of us that are listening as entrepreneurs and business owners, or even as employees, if you work for somebody else, what could you be doing?
It's a luxury to be bored. Like,
yes,
but it's going to keep you there. It's going to keep you just kind of and bored. And it's like, if you want to get out of that, you got to go and do that thing
If you were in sort of, and I feel like this is an interesting question because you're not somebody who would be in a rut because you are such a high performer, but if you needed to kick yourself out of maybe a slump mindset, what are some of your go-to things that you would do?
Well, even right now, I know that I need to start doing things that are really uncomfortable for me. Like one of my main jobs is going to be like trying to really learn like TikTok algorithm, social media. Like I feel pretty confident on, other socials, but TikTok is really the place for products. So we're not only hiring a team for the product, but it's really important that I figure it out. So what I'm doing is like telling people to help me stay accountable and creating KPIs among my team of like what I have to do. So I don't like that. It's like, oh, we need these 3 reels from you this week. Like that doesn't feel good to me, especially when I don't understand TikTok yet and how it's going to look. And that, I post a video right now on TikTok and it gets like 2 views. So that feels shitty.
Love that. Love that. Great for the ego.
But that's like one of the most vital things for my product company right now. So
doing things that we don't know and that are uncomfortable.
Totally.
All right, I want to wrap things up with a couple of rapid fire questions. Okay. And we are going to start at the top with, what are you currently reading?
Oh, I am reading Gary Vee's book, Day Trading Attention.
Ooh, okay, great.
It's the best book ever. Have you read it yet? I mean, it just came out 2 days ago.
No, I heard him talking about it on Skinny Confidential.
It's the best book ever.
Okay, amazing. Add to my list. I feel like every book that you post, I'm like, okay, add to
Christina,
list.
who's in here, is going to love that book.
Oh, I love that.
She's going to be obsessed.
Christina Bartold, I love a little
Christina
shout
Bartold
out.
in the house.
Gazing into your eyes, both of us. Date night. Are you going out or are you staying in?
Going out. I'm in Newport. I go out now. I stayed in Arizona.
Love it. I mean, I would go out here too.
Yeah,
we're going out tonight.
You can't keep me in. It's a thing.
Especially with all the new fits.
The new guys. I'm working with the stylist.
I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed with these jeans. And what is your current workout routine?
Well, I walk every single day in the morning, then we walk in the evening, but I do lift 3 days a week. So I do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, lift at the gym. They're typically always full bodies because I like that. And then I am adding in some cycle again, which I went back to a cycle class and I haven't been to one because I haven't found one that I like. And
How was that
found
experience?
one here. I literally cried. Like the whole class where they turn the lights off through like 2 songs, and I just bawled my eyes out because I was like, welcome home. Like, because I need to move and think like that. And to move and think with people in the dark was to music. I haven't been able to recreate that for myself.
Because you were a big Soul Cycle girl.
I was huge Soul Cycle, and it shut down here, and some other stuff with Soul Cycle. But anyway.
Okay. Well, that's exciting. Welcoming cycling back. All right. And then I also I love that you already mentioned the Power 9, because that's something that Matt and I have adopted, and we actually started writing them down.
Oh, I
love looking back at especially the manifestations.
When it comes true, because it does.
Yes, like big advocates for Power 9. So thank you for bringing that into our life.
That makes me so happy.
What are 3 things that you're grateful for?
I'm grateful for right now. So whenever I do grateful fors, I'm like, don't forget about this moment because it's so magical. So I'm so grateful to be here with you and with Christina and with Aaron from DreamWorks, and that we're in Newport, and that I'm grateful that we have people coming to dinner series. That's like, Chris and I never want to forget, like when we end up filling our events, there were times when we did not fill our events, and there will probably be a day where people don't want to be in rooms with us. So I'm so grateful for that.
I beg to differ on that one.
And I'm grateful for my company, truly. Like, I love this company. It's such a creative outlet for me. It's my dream company. It's like all the dream women. So I'm grateful for is make you so present.
I think it's amazing. It makes me so proud to be an investor and be a part of Glōci, just to see how lit up you are talking about it. That I think if someone had have told me that externally, that this is a real win when your leader glows about their company, I think it would be something that you easily overlook. And it's just something that I really get when, like, for sure, sitting across from you, that I see you just resonating this joy and love for the company that you're creating. But you can also hear it when you talk about it. When I can hear it sort of audibly when you talk about it through the podcast.
I'm literally made from it now because I drink it so much.
I know. I can't wait to get my package arriving at the hotel.
Know. You guys, this Canada thing, it's making it so hard, but it's happened. When we get there, we're gonna throw a huge party.
Yeah, it's gonna be. We have double hands out from Christina Bartold in the corner.
Great.
And what are you most excited about right now?
Tomorrow.
Love that.
Yeah, even like right now and tomorrow, I'm just really excited about dinner series and being able to do something with my husband, and that truly like a lot of my favorite people in the whole world are in the room tomorrow. So it doesn't get better than that. Favorite speakers too.
I cannot wait.
Yeah.
And tell me one thing that you're manifesting as we close out this divine conversation.
300 new customers per month on Glōci on subscription.
Oh, I love that. Starting when?
I mean, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Okay, tomorrow. It's starting tomorrow.
Starting tomorrow, we'll start ticking our way up there.
Well, Lori, thank you so much for being here right now. I am really grateful for that. But I'm really grateful for you just as a human and being such a guiding light for me for the last number of years and to be a part of everything that you're creating. So thank you so much.
Oh my God. Well, thank you for having me on here. And you guys have been like one of the most fun surprises in our lives of like, oh my gosh, these people are so cool. Let's hang out with them. And so you never know where your friends are going to come from.
I'm here for that.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening, everyone, to the Inspire and Move podcast. And you will get a little friendly reminder in the show notes, but please just go check out Glōci. Be one of the 300 new subscribers. Enjoy the code INSPIRE to enjoy not 15% off, but 25% off when you welcome Glōci into your life. And why not take a look at that affiliate program and be invited into the ambassador program and just go out there, be great. Thank you so much for listening, being a part of this community, and I am so grateful for you. Thank you so much for listening. If you loved this episode, it would mean so much to me if you took a few seconds and shared this on social media, sent it to a friend, or left a 5-star review. There is power in community, and I'm so grateful to have you part of mine.